Something terrible is coming. But the Arab will suffer the most. The Arab. Woe unto the Arabs. Wailul lil Arab. Min sharrin qad iktaraba. Because of a great evil which will now embrace them, eventually. And then he raised his hands like this and said, today a hole has been made in the radam of Zulkarnain, of Ya'juj and Ma'juj. Rad. The barrier, or the dam. You have a dam and you build something to keep the water, then it becomes a dam. Today a hole has been made in that barrier built by Zulkarnain. And this is repeated in the Quran, in the Hadith, 8 times, this Hadith. It is also mutawatir, Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Muslim. It is muttafaqun alayh, indicating that in the lifetime of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, not only was Dajjal released, but also that Gog and Magog was released. The barrier was brought down in the lifetime of the Prophet. Well then, if they are brought down, the barrier is brought down and Gog and Magog are released, then we should be looking for footprints, Footprints. Well, let's leave Surah Al-Kahf and go to the other parts of the Quran, searching for the ayat on Ya'juj and Ma'juj. And we find in Surah Al-Anbiya only one more reference to Gog and Magog, in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about a town. Remember the town? And he had destroyed the town, punished it by destroying it, and then expelled the people of the town. وَحَرَامٌ عَلَى قَرْيَةٍ أَهْلَكْنَاهَا. And then he banned the people of the town, that they could never return to reclaim that town as their own. أَنَّهُمْ لَا يَرْجِعُونَ. They are in a state of permanent exclusion, banned from returning to that town. Hatta, until when? Hatta إِذَا فُتِحَتْ يَأْجُوجُ وَمَأْجُوجُ. Until Gog and Magog are released. وَهُمْ مِنْ كُلِّ حَدَبٍ يَنْسِلُونَ. وَهُمْ مِنْ كُلِّ حَدَبٍ يَنْسِلُونَ. And Gog and Magog, when they are released, they spread out in every direction, which is one meaning. And if you spread out in every direction, then you'll take control of the world. The land, the sea, the air. Read Toynbee. Read Arnold Toynbee. Read a book called Civilization on Trial. I'm giving you good books to read, incidentally, not comic books. Read Arnold Toynbee, the British historian. Read a book entitled Civilization on Trial. You should get it on the internet. It was written somewhere around 80 years, 90 years ago, 1935, somewhere around 70, 80 years ago. And in that book, Arnold Toynbee points out that modern Western civilization has risen upon the world with a mission to take control of the whole world. And he says, the land, the sea, the air, everything. He said it in that book. وَهُمْ مِنْ كُلِّ حَدَبٍ يَنْسِلُونَ. They spread out in all directions, and with the indestructible power they take control of the world. For the first time in history, one people will control the whole world. Nobody ever did that before. The other meaning is that they descend from every height. So they target you and they impose themselves upon you. You can't get away from them. Which town is it? Which town is it that is linked with Gog and Magog, which is the biggest footprint of all? Which town? We used this methodology, that we looked at all the ahadith of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ pertaining to Gog and Magog, to see whether there was any town mentioned by him that is linked to Gog and Magog. And when we had studied all the ahadith, we found only one town, only one in the hadith. And it is Baytul Maqdis, Jerusalem, Al-Quds. And so we said, well, here is a hypothesis which is already resting on fairly firm foundations, since this is a town mentioned in the hadith that is connected with Gog and Magog. So let's look and try on the shoe and see whether it fits. Why can't we do that? So then we looked at Jerusalem. And we found that this is a town which was destroyed by Allah. And Banu Israel were expelled from the town, even though Allah had given the land to them. The first time that they violated the covenant with fasad, وَقَضَيْنَا إِلَى بَنِي إِسْرَائِيلَ فِي الْكِتَابِ لَتُفْسِدُنَّ فِي الْأَرْضِ مَرَّتَيْنِ وَتَعْلُنَّ عُلُوًّا كَبِيرًا. The first time they committed fasad, He expelled them and then banned them from returning. For 100 years they were in Babylon. And then He allowed them to return. And then the second period of fasad. And then He punished them again and He expelled them. And having expelled them this time, He left a door open for them. Despite all your wickedness, it is still possible. Asa Rabbukum ayyarhamakum. It is still possible for you to be forgiven and have mercy. There's only one door. This is the door, a man named Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If you shut that door, then tilka ummatun qad khalat. You finish. Divine punishment will now begin. And if you are taken for a ride and brought back to the Holy Land by Gog and Magog, and you return with your fasad, then guess what I'll do with you? وَإِنْ عُدْتُمْ عُدْنَا. If you return with your fasad, your wickedness, your oppression, I will return with my punishment. The first time was an army that punished them. The second time was an army that punished them. The third time it will be an army that will punish them. I don't need the hadith from Khorasan. The Quran is enough for me. Yes, I said it to you before. A Muslim army will now attack and destroy the state of Israel.